In this video, I'm going to make a predicate block. As you already know, predicate blocks return true or false, and in many programming languages, they refer to these as Booleans. Boolean statements or Boolean blocks return something that is true or false, and in Snap, they have these little pointy ends. That's how you know they're predicates. So you've seen these many, many times. For example, if I click on this one, it returns true, 3 is equal to 3. This returns false, 2 is not less than 1. And typically you see these put inside of an if statement, right? I mean, I might say if 3 is equal to 3, then do something. Anyway, I am going to make a predicate block, and I want my predicate block to determine if a number is even or not even. And odd, I guess, would be the way of saying not even. So I'm going to make a block, and we've done this many times before, and I'm just going to say is even. And I'll make a variable, I don't know, n for my number, let's say. And I'm going to put it under operators, and it is a predicate block. Okay, and you can see that it already sticks a little report block there in for me. So I want to determine if a number is even or not. Now, of course, you know a number is even if 2 goes into it with no remainder. So I'm going to use this mod function right here, and I think you remember how this works. If I divide my number by 2 and the remainder is 0, then that tells me that the number is even. So I'm going to use an if statement. I'll go to my control blocks and I will say, now of course there's more than one way to do this, but I am going to say if my number divided by 2 is the remainder of my number divided by 2 is 0, I'm going to return true. So I'll go to operators right here, and where's my true false? I'm going to return true, else I'm going to return false. And that's it. So I'm going to give this a run, and let's see if this works here. I hope it works. So let's give it a try, and here is my is even block, and I'll put in a number and give it a run. 5 is not even, hence the false. 4 is even. Now, again, typically, you use predicates inside of if statements. Like I would say something like, and I would stick a variable here probably. If my number is even, then do something else. Let me just talk about one other way that we could run this, or we could write this, I should say, differently. So let me just edit this guy. Now, this is a little bit tricky. You're gonna have to give this some thought. But really, I could do this in one line of code. I could really just say report n mod 2 equals 0, because this itself is a predicate. This is going to return true if the remainder is 0, or it's going to return false if the remainder is not 0. So really, I could, if I'm slick here, I'm not sure I'm slick, but I could do this in one line of code. Convince yourself that this makes sense. So let's give this a try again. That is true. I'll stick another number there. Is even is false. So I hope that makes sense, and you're going to be writing a couple of predicate blocks.